Hey guys, so we're going to get some writing done today. Just making sure my video is working. All right, so we're going to do some writing today. So you will need, for writing our lesson today in writing, you will need your dice, you'll need your spacer, you will need your notebook, and you have 3 different roll of stories. It does not matter which one you use. Pick one, and you can use that one. One of my cats is breaking down the door right now. So, also in your little packet, you see the transition words and phrases paper and time words and phrases. So you have all of those to use. And you're going to use some of those today. For our story for today, we're going to use some of the time phrases like once upon a time, and we're going to start kind of putting our story together that way. So pick one of your roll of stories. I'm going to choose the one that has a happy alien as the top character. You do not have to use this one. You can use whatever story you'd like, but that's the one that we're going to use today. So I'm going to take my dice and I'm going to roll it. All right, I got a 2. So my character today will be a giant dog. That's my character. So now I've got to figure out what the problem is going to be. So I'm going to roll my dice. I got a 4. My giant dog eats a poisonous apple. And then I've got to tell where he is. So I've got to roll the dice. I got 1 on the moon. So my giant dog eats a poisonous apple on the moon. That's my story. That's the setting for my story. That's my character, my problem, and the setting for my story. So I want to look at my transition phrases and my time and words passing phrases. So I'm going to say one day is the one I'm going to choose under the telling when. I'm actually going to fold this so I can hold it. Telling when, I'm choosing one day. That's what I'm going to choose for my starter. So on my paper, I'm going to write one day. And I can actually copy it straight off of this paper. One day. One day. And remember, if you remember what my character was a giant dog, so I'm going to add him there. One day, a giant dog. And I'm going to jump over to my setting. One day, a giant dog went to the moon. Remember, that's where I said he was. He was on the moon. A giant dog went and to the moon. So one day, a giant dog went to the moon. So that's mine. And honestly, I didn't have to circle many words this time because I used my telling when phrase. I copied my character phrase, which was a giant dog for me. It may be different for you. If you use a different menu or you rolled a different number, your character could be totally different from me. So one day, a giant dog went. I did have to sound that one out. And I think I did pretty good with that. To the moon. Now, that's a little different than what my setting said. My setting said on the moon. So I had to change it to a word I knew, to the moon. So now, that's my opening sentence. That's how my story starts. So you have a story starter. You've already rolled your dice and gotten your character, your problem, and your setting. So, one day, a giant dog went to the moon. Now, we're going to add another sentence underneath it. We're going to tell what our problem is. So we need to tell, remember our problem was he ate a poisonous apple. Now, if I'm writing about a giant dog on the moon, is this a real story? No, this is a fiction story. So anything can happen in a fiction story. One day, a giant dog went to the moon. I'm going to say he found found an apple tree. Well, I know that's crazy, but it's a story. It's not a real story. It's a fiction story. So I can make it have anything I want in it. One day, a giant dog went to the moon. I'm going to make it capital because it's a new sentence. He found an apple tree. He found an apple tree. So for today, I'm going to stop with my writing. One, because when I am sounding out words, I want to double check that I've got this one right. He found an apple. I'm going to check that one, tree. Now, I'm going to use what I know last week. Two E's can say E. And we spelled that word last week, tree. So I've got that one right. So I've got two words circled that I'll come back to tomorrow, and I'll think about adding another sentence. So today, you need to have an opening sentence that talks about your character and where your story takes place. Then your next sentence, I said he found an apple tree. And then we know our problem is he ate a poisonous apple. So tomorrow, I'm going to add the problem into our story. This is kind of setting up our story. One day, a giant dog went to the moon. He found an apple tree. Tomorrow, I'm going to add the problem. And then on Wednesday, I'll add the solution and I'll close out my story. And then on Thursday, I'll come and check my story. And then on Friday, we'll publish our story. So yours may not be just like mine. When you roll the dice, you may have gotten a clever detective turns into a bird at school. You may have gotten a happy alien get stuck in a fire at the store. You could have gotten lots of different things. So the stories are not going to be the same, and that's the beauty of writing a story. And like we said, this is a fiction story. This is not a real story. So a giant dog could not go to the moon and find an apple tree. That's how I know this is fiction. But can I write a story that has that? Absolutely. You can write a story that has that. So I want you to work on your opening sentence. Use one of those time phrases that you have. Tell us who was in the story, where it takes place, and give us the beginning of the problem. And tomorrow we'll write about the problem, and then we'll write about the solution, and then we'll check it. So I can't wait to see all your stories. I love you guys.